If you are in a B school or if you are an MBA aspirant, you might have an idea or you would know that what exactly is the war zone mindset which is there in your B school. Now, even if you don't know what it is, in this podcast, in this episode, my objective is to help you understand what it is and why this war zone mindset which you and all the other friends of yours have in your B school, why this is a wasteful mindset. It is something which you should drop right now. And I will not just say it for the sake of inspiration. I would be explaining it to you logically that why it is pointless to have this kind of a thought process in this episode. Hi and welcome. I am Darpan Saxena, an MBA graduate from IIM Udaipur and the founder of Super Heuristics. And I am on a mission to help 100,000 MBA students create the best career outcomes in the field of marketing through their knowledge and digital skills. Let's get on with the episode. So welcome to another episode of the 5 Steps Ahead podcast. And as I said, I'll be explaining you that what is the war zone mindset which a lot of students have and why it is completely pointless, why you need to completely forget about it. So firstly, what exactly is the war zone mindset? As the name speaks for itself, the war zone mindset is about that how you wake up in a B school every day and you think of it to be a war. You think of every other student in that school to be your enemies. You think of it to be a war where you need to win, wherein you need to be extremely ahead of all of your enemies. And it's not just about being ahead. The problem with this mindset is that you think that if your enemy wins, then you lose. And if you win, then your enemy is a loser. And this kind of a thought process, it's not your fault that why do you have this? Because it starts from the exam which you have cracked to get into the B school. To be very frank, it does not even start from there. It starts from way earlier in your school. But then the most fresh occasion when you feel the same thing is when you're appearing for the CAT exam or for any other MBA exam which you have cracked. Because you know that in that MBA exam, if you score well, then someone else, his percentile is not going to be as much as it would have been if you would not have scored well. And also in the B school where you are, there were only a fixed seats. And hence, if you are inside that school, then someone else has been left behind for sure. Hence, from there, we continue to have this same thought process that everything in life is a zero-sum game. But the reality is, and if you're an MBA student, you need to hear this, because your mindset now needs to change now that you are in your MBA program. Because those days where success, where the outcome for you was a zero-sum game are over. Up till the time, yes, when you are applying for your school, there was that kind of a game, but now it's over. Now all of you who are there in the B school, you can win. You can make a great life for yourself, and you need not think of it to be a zero-sum game. Now just try and imagine this. When you were appearing for your CAT exam, you were 2 lakh plus students. And in that circumstance, you had this impression that yes, it is a zero-sum game, that yes, it is a war. Fair enough. From there, when you got shortlisted for your MBA school, you were around 3,000 students who were having those interviews. And even when the count of students was 3,000, you still had the impression that it's a war. Now, surprisingly, out of those 3,000, you are at max 300 or 400 students at your school in your batch, and you still have the impression that it is a war zone. The sad part is that instead of it being 400 students, had it even been 4 students in your school, only 4 students, you would have still thought that it's a war zone. There is no end to this thought process of it being a war zone, of it being something wherein you need to win, otherwise you lose. That's wrong. So, having established the fact that this war zone mentality is a hangover from the CAT exam or from any other exam which you have appeared for, now is the time that you need to drop it. You need to say it to yourself and say it aloud that yes, I am dropping the war zone mentality. You need to say to yourself that yes, I and everyone else can be successful. And once you have established this thought, now you are prepared to understand that how you can win. And how you can win, how everyone in your B school, all of your friends, all 400 of you or all 4,000 of you who are in various schools, how all of you can win is through a simple secret which I have shared in another episode of mine. And that secret is of creation versus competition. For you to defeat the competition, for you to not feel that the competition is high, you need to get into the habit of creation. You need to realize one thing, that each one of you are unique. Each one of you have unique skills. Each one of you are good at different things. And when such unique entities, even if suppose all 400 of them are applying for the same job, even if all 400 of them are working for the same job, all of you, the outcomes for all of you is not going to be the same. Because while somebody is amazing at one particular skill, someone else is going to be great at some completely other opposite skill. Hence, once you realize that yes, you're unique, your abilities, your skills are unique, most importantly, your vision is unique, and because your vision is unique, your goal should not be what your friend's goal is. That just because the entire batch is talking about being in that swanky job which is about to come for your placements, it does not mean that you also need to run after it. You need to realize what is your uniqueness, the uniqueness in your vision. And once you've accepted the fact that, okay, what exactly is it that you want? And it's an easy process because you just need to feel what your heart says, that, okay, what kind of a life do I imagine that I live? And from that life, you will obviously be able to understand that, okay, for me to be able to lead that life, I need to do this kind of a job, which allows me to do these things. And from there, you need to find out that what is the closest which you can find from your placements. This is a vague explanation of the back hacking of the placement process, about which I always talk in my episodes as well as in my videos. Now, once you've identified that what exactly is it that you want to do, what is the job role which you want to get into, for that you need to find out what are the skills which you need, and you need to develop those skills so that you can become a complete professional for you to get that job, for you to get that outcome. And once you've learned those skills, once you've understood those skills, for you to tell the world that you know these skills, you need to get into the habit of creation. Because when you are acquiring a skill, you are acquiring it. You are in the process of acquiring Gyan. But while you are acquiring it, for you to complete the entire cycle, you also need to create content. You need to create by doing projects which use those skills. You need to create content on those skills. For example, if I may have some skills, then I would ensure that I create an article on that, or I create a YouTube video on that, or I create an episode on my podcast on that. Because while I'm in the process of creation, while I'm creating my article, while I'm creating my video, or while I'm creating my episode, I need to think deep. And I need to structure my thought. And when I get into the habit of creation, it gives me clarity. And the more I get clarity on the thing which I'm creating, that thing would remain with me, it would stay forever with me, within me. And that is what you want, that whatever skills you are imbibing for the job role which you need, they should stay with you. For that, it's very important that whenever you are acquiring those skills, you are constantly creating. That is why I always say create a marketing experiments lab, which is going to be a blog. That is exactly what I used to do when I was in my first year. I created my blog, and on that I used to write articles, I used to create YouTube videos, so on and so forth. And whatever I used to learn, I used to create something out of it. So that was my objective, to tell you about this secret of mine, which is creation versus competition. that if you want to let go of the war zone mentality, which is completely wasteful, which makes no sense, because the day you realize that you are unique, your goals are unique and they are not the goals which everyone has. Once you identify what your true goal is, once you identify that what do you really want from your placements and not what everyone else wants, then you will be able to identify what skills you need to have, and from that skills you will be able to identify that what are the things you need to create for you to get those skills, and that would solve the problem. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. Stay tuned for many more such episodes wherein I'll be sharing with you more such thoughts of mine. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot for staying up till the end of the episode. Do not forget to subscribe to this podcast and to my YouTube channel by the name Super Heuristics. And do join my community of MBA students who are creating the best career outcomes through their knowledge and digital skills. Hop on to superheuristics.com and I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you.